expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know.
CoreTV News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
Presidential
We break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live
I wish you
as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime
Our
News.
24-hour news station.
Welcome back after the lengthy break. But of course we'll make up for it because I have someone who has a vast understanding of the Nigerian political as well as socio-cultural landscape, and of course bringing his own expertise to bear. You will agree with me that everything will be taken from the law aspect, because we're going forward as a nation and ensuring that the rule of law is maintained. That's why we have Barrister Chukwuemeka Eze here, who has just joined me this morning to discuss what we call ahead transition, looking at what Nigerians might be expecting from the president, and the fact that Nigerians have been warned ahead, according to some analysts, that they should lower their expectations for now and see that it's a common project, a project that everyone has to be involved. It's not just one man that is coming in to turn Nigeria into an El Dorado. No, but a project that all of us should be involved. And to discuss this, I'm moving into the real topic for the day. I have Barrister Chukwuemeka Eze, who's just joined me. Barrister, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Emmanuel?
Well, it's good to see you again after a long while. It's interesting to see. On our topic, but first of all, before we go into some specifics, what has been your take on the elections, the elections proper, now post-elections, and how Nigerians have taken it? We'll also take a look at a little bit about the fact that, maybe just a short talk on the British election. But first of all, the Nigerian election and how it's turned out. What's your take as to improvement, not just INEC, but the people's response?
I think the people responded very well, especially with respect to the March 28th presidential and National Assembly elections. But in our usual manner, we bungled the thing. In many places, we claimed the card reader did not work, and whether politicians decapitated it or INEC staff. So, in some places, voting went on till 11 p.m. In some areas, 3 a.m., while some people were stopped at 4 p.m. So, to me, that election was not a perfect one. But because in the spirit of change, I think Nigerians have come to accept it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's another project bungled. We are yet to get it right. The only thing is that because Nigerians wanted change, and change has occurred, so people just decided to let the sleeping dog lie.
Let the sleeping dog lie. Sometimes the dog may have swallowed certain things, and then when it gets up, probably... Well, let's move on. We're looking at issues and challenges with the transition. Over the last 2 weeks or thereabout or more, transition committees were set up. We've got the president now, outgoing president, setting up a transition committee to harmonize a smooth, to ensure that there's a smooth transition, ministries, departments, parastatals, and what have you. Also, the incoming government-elect, headed by Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, also set up their own committee. But recently, in the last 7 or more days, we've been hearing how that the accusations of how one part of the transition committee is trying to frustrate the other. What tone does this set as we move into the transition proper and ahead of the transition?
I think at the end of the day, the parties will be addendum. They will agree on all these issues. But you see, this is a voice of a victorious person. I am aware that APC has issued a statement that PDP is not cooperating with it, but the federal government has a transition committee headed by the vice president, and it is in the news that the vice president has said that he wasn't having any problem with Ahmed Joda. And we have Ahmed Joda is setting that of the president-elect. And Ahmed Joda has no complaint, although they are operating, he's operating under the auspices of the president-elect. So he has no complaint. And the PDP may not be moving as fast as APC wants it. And that's why they are different parties. They have different way of doing things. They have different way of understanding things. And there's this cat and mouse relationship between PDP and APC. So if they are speaking from both sides of the mouth, one should expect it. In any case, I think at the end of the day, the two sides will meet at a point. We shouldn't bother ourselves. You see, when people are, the elite, when they speak, sometimes they speak for public relations purposes. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Anyim Pius Anyim, is working with the Timmy Presiva Committee on the other side.
Exactly.
And I think they are trying to understand themselves. You wouldn't expect them to just everything to work perfectly. So there might be minor
So these are expected
fallout. The hiccups. We shouldn't bother ourselves so much about this.
Or maybe to some extent, maybe they are blown out of proportion.
I don't know. I'm not working with them, but I don't think this is something Nigerians want to hear now. Nigerians want to hear about how the fuel scarcity will be eased, how they can get energy easily and live their lives. I mean, that's what Nigerians want to hear, not about transition or no transition committee. They should manage it at that level. And I mean, you will live, only the living can talk about transition.
Absolutely.
Our lives are being devalued on a daily basis. We don't have energy. I mean, electricity supply is at its lowest ebb. Most Nigerians are at the filling stations looking for either kerosene or petroleum. I mean, petrol, what you call premium motor spirit, PMS. Diesel is not scarce, but even to get access to enter the filling station to buy diesel is another trouble.
Maybe requires another transition committee. But now, the issue now is that Nigerians expect so much from the incoming government. And calls have come in, both from the political class, the religious class, religious leaders, and many Nigerians are beginning to understand that it won't take miracle to fix things. I recall that even before the election, in one of the fora that the president-elect now was in, he did say that sometimes when he looks at the crowd of people, you know, at campaign rallies, he's sometimes, if I may paraphrase him, you know, worried about the people's expectations. And how would Nigerians going ahead now, after the transition and all of that, the handover, because it's just less than 3 weeks to the handover date. How would Nigerians come to terms with the fact that it is a building process? It's not just an overnight job, even if the integrity of the president-elect remains intact, and Nigerians are hinging their hope on that.
The background to your question, one can look at it this way, that Buhari has come on stage based on his messianic disposition. And if you're a father and you're going out and you tell your child you're going to buy things for the child will be looking up to what you buy. Definitely you shouldn't come back with nothing. You may not come back with all you have promised the child, but you must come back with something. So Nigerians are looking up to Buhari to govern them in applying things differently. This notion of every day you hear billions are missing, billions are stolen, Nigerians don't want to hear that kind of thing under his regime. It doesn't need to be a miracle worker to stop that. So in as much as he will not be in a position to give all that he has promised, but he has to give substantial part of it. Otherwise, there wouldn't be difference between him and the outgoing government. So definitely people want to see a difference, difference in the way government officials carry themselves, difference in the way Nigerians are treated both at home and abroad, and different in the way government reacts to complain of the citizenry. So definitely there must be a difference. And this difference, you don't need any special magic wand to effect it. So that difference Nigerians want to see. The fact that some people will still be unemployed, definitely that will be the situation. There is no way everybody will be employed, whether under Buhari or under anybody. There is no way all the problems of Nigeria will be wished away overnight. So definitely, but Nigerians will want a change in the manner of contractors taking money to construct roads, and they will abandon it and run away. So under Buhari's tenure, if you get a contract, Nigerians will be expecting that that contract will not be the most expensive in the world.
Because, pardon me, because there was a report some time ago that the airport in Abuja, the runway, the cost compared to other countries is about the highest in the world.
It's not just the airport. If you do a comparative analysis of cost of doing business in Nigeria, you discover that it's one of the highest in the world. In fact, corruption if you must factor in the amount you use to settle government officials if you want to perform a contract.
Interesting.
What happens?
You have a job, so you've got to factor in.
What happens? And what happens in most cases is that when you factor this in, after distributing the money, you vamoose. And they will have the temerity to come back to you to question you why you have not performed the job. For instance, if it's a job that has come from Ministry of Works, the engineers there have to be settled. The supervising engineers may not come back to write a report that is favorable to the people, but a report that will be favorable to the contractor so that he will get his money, settle him, and walk away. So that's why you see things not happening. So basically, all the facets of our national life have been abused, thoroughly abused by corruption. So Nigerians are looking forward to seeing a governor that will stop by traffic light, obey traffic light.
Just as we've seen in Lagos.
His lieutenant, you discover that his own lieutenants had become overzealous, using the Nigerian style when they stopped AIT from covering. And he came out to say, he didn't even know about it. In any case, please, confine yourself to your job, leave it to the media team to handle their colleagues.
Exactly.
So that is what happens. Nigerians are overzealous, whether they are in APC or PDP. They are Nigerians.
Exactly. Well, Barrister is still here. We'll go for this very quick commercial break. We'll now delve, when we come back, we'll delve into the real issues and challenges that might be facing the incoming government. Stay with us.
Introducing Smart Connect, where get plenty awoof to allow you talk, text, and browse nyafu for tin in the money.
Igwe. Say you know say with just 200 naira recharge card, Airtel they summer me with 200% bonus to yarn more with any network.
Now you not call me your fiance.
Relax. In fact, I don't buy your own address in every as correct vessel. Anytime I recharge 200 naira and above, Smart Connect they summer me with free internet to browse. If you want to make your family follow you enjoy, buy your 4-in-1 family pack for the price of one. Oh baby.
Akuroro. This girl too, na family and friends.
No carry last though. Buy your Airtel SIM today.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. Well, it's Barrister Chukwuemeka is still here, and now we're going to issues, the real issues and challenges that might be confronting the incoming government. Barrister, the incoming government now have to grapple with a lot of issues. Nigerians, like you've mentioned some of them, but really looking at them specifically. You mentioned unemployment. There will always be somebody who is not unemployed. There will always be one or two things that the people may be lacking. But how would you look at the possibility of the incoming government addressing some of these issues that in the short term, because we've got to have short, medium, and long-term responses.
Sure.
Now, in the short term, at least, one or two responses will tell Nigerians that, look, there's indeed the real change?
Attitudinal change. And it has to start from the top. You know, Chinua Achebe wrote that the trouble with Nigeria is leadership. So if you can get the leadership to comply with the rule of law, because the level of impunity in the land is not certain. So anybody can constitute himself to an overlord, disobey the law, and if you want to arrest him, he will start calling his friends in the army, in the police, among politicians, and they will intervene, and that will be the end of the matter. So you now have different kinds of citizenry, those who are on top of the law and those that are below the law. And except you offend the powers that be, big men don't go to prison in Nigeria.
But so we've had some big men in prison.
I say, unless you offend some people that take it that you've overstepped your bounds, let's teach them a lesson. So, but not necessarily because they want the law to take its course. So basically, we need attitudinal change. We need people in power to obey the law, just as when he came in his first missionary journey, he came with war against indiscipline. I don't know the appellation he will give it this time around, but we need attitudinal change because that attitudinal change will help in fighting corruption. If people, less impunity and war against corruption, if these two are taken care of, the magic you are talking about, this will help in arresting most of the ills in the society, because many people do things and say nothing will happen. Nothing. What will happen?
That because it's becoming a regular pattern.
It's become normative.
Nothing will happen.
It's normative now. You do whatever you like and say. So basically, you see people, even a bus driver can park at a major way and be picking passengers. And you see a uniformed traffic man standing beside him, just knocking something on the back and say, go on, go on.
Yeah, but I've actually seen...
nobody, I mean, nothing happens.
You know, in this instance, I've actually seen a situation where a traffic warden was actually pleading with the bus driver, please.
And it's a product of corruption, because all bus drivers, they settle traffic wardens every day. Specific checkpoints, sometimes they receive it directly, or they keep civilians to receive it. If you don't pay, he will call the man in uniform to come and stop you. And in some cases, at some traffic points, you see a traffic warden stopping a bus driver just for purpose of taking something from him, and a very long line behind him. So these things, you may take it that they are not serious matter, but people will be going to work in the morning, and they will be on traffic just because somebody wants to take bribe from somebody. So this attitudinal change is one major war that Buhari has to wage. I know you'll be thinking of physical infrastructure. That's another angle. When you come to physical infrastructure, definitely the issue of power has to be taken care of. Then petroleum, subsidy or no subsidy, you must grapple with it.
But Barrister, pardon me, but we're looking at the issues now. Now you raise a very fundamental, and if you ask me, foundational issue, which has to do with our attitude, that you know, trickles into every aspect of our life. You know, now we've cited the example of a bus driver or a police, an officer on the road, but the point is that they are Nigerians. Now, if you transport that into other bigger spheres, like the federal ministries and state ministries and so on, it gives one the insight that if such compromises could be expressed on the road, you imagine the kind of compromises that are expressed behind the scene.
Sure.
Now, these are the issues. Now, looking at the issues that are before us, that have been with us, like you said, this is his second missionary journey. That's the president-elect. Then it was a military fiat. Understandably, yes. Things have to be done with a fiat. But now it's a democratic dispensation. In fact, he said that it is a transformed Democrat, which he has expressed. Losing the election in 2011, went to court. Okay? Now, coming back again and winning. Now, how will he be able to address this attitudinal change to ensure that, like you said, it starts from the top? Even if let me zero in on remunerations. How is he going to address that? How possible will he be able to address those issues?
Now, I want to refer you to the American case of Marbury and Madison. Marshall CJ said that it is better to have a country of rules or laws than to have a country of good people. So the major challenge before Buhari is to make Nigerians or make Nigeria a country of laws and not a country of good people. Do you know even bad people can obey the law for fear of punishment? That's why if he can borrow from that case what that the Chief Justice of U.S. at that time said, I mean, Nigeria will become a very good place because many people take it that anything goes in this country. And like you said, if you send very good ideas to ministries, maybe to get contracts, you see people sitting there, they take the idea, give to their relations to replicate with another letterhead and now take the contract. You that brought the idea, you'll be left in the lodge. So a lot of malfeasance has been going on in the system.
And this happens across board.
It's across board. And that's why people are too religious, because after committing these evils, then the only recourse they need to have is to either mosques or churches.
To go seek forgiveness.
To go to hide under, they need to hide under somewhere.
We're a religious country, Barrister.
No, basically, when people are very devilish, they tend to hide under religion. I'm not saying, you know, there is a difference between being pious or living pure lives and being religious.
Does this link to the comment made by one British man who said that Nigerians, he has observed, are not really godly, but they are religious?
We export religion, even Nigerians.
So we now even take it out?
We export it. The other day, one of our revered religious leaders was praying for the man who just won election in Cameroon. He was prayed for by a Nigerian. Nigerians are very great people. But we are very good people and we are amenable to changes. But the thing is that if we don't have the right, when we don't have the right leaders, we can mess up. The demonizing Nigerians will not help us, basically. But we are people that can change if we have the right leadership. You'll be surprised that these same Nigerians, we are saying they don't obey rules. Overnight, they start obeying rules.
Now, to buttress this changing attitude and how Nigerians can follow leadership, yes, let's give it to him. The now former governor of Ekiti State, after being voted out, congratulated the now governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose. That at the state level. And people probably thought that it might never happen elsewhere, at another level, higher level. Just recently, we all know now, the president, outgoing president, called the president-elect and congratulated him. We now have some states where governors-elect are now being called and congratulated. So I think it tells a bit of how this can actually trickle down when leadership takes the right position.
Sure.
Now let's begin to stay with some of the major challenges that Buhari might be facing. Let me just mention some of them. One, there has been hue and cry about the take-home of political office holders. The minimum wage at 18,000, and currently now the situation in Nigeria, you and I know, Barrister, that for some people, the take-home pay cannot take them home. And so there's this cry of checking the income, or rather the take-home of political office holders. Let's first of all start with that. With the current minimum wage in Nigeria, how do you think the incoming government will be able to tell Nigerians that we are serious about your welfare and also we're taking it on ourselves? Even if we know that one or two members of the National Assembly elect have said that they're already proposing for a reduction of their income that Nigerians have actually cried over.
I agree with you. Basically, I learned that 3% of Nigeria's budget goes to the National Assembly.
And they constitute less than 1,000 or 2,000 people?
I mean, it's quite horrendous that we should be spending so much. Somebody suggested that 30 million naira is being earned by a member of the National Assembly monthly. So, and that's why, if it is true, though, you know, in this country we are afraid of data. So nobody wants to disclose the actual sum. So despite the availability of Freedom of Information Act, they have refused to disclose exactly. The clerk of the National Assembly is taboo to him to disclose what they actually earn. So basically, it's not even in their basic salary, but in their allowances. So
you've got the basic.
Yes, they are basic.
You've got the
and
allowances.
sometimes they refuse the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission to regulate their salaries. So they have the National Assembly Commission, and they self-regulate their own pay. And sometimes they call what you call constituency allowances. They just give you one baptismal name to take a lot of money home. And we must learn how to reduce the cost of electioneering. Let me tell you, to be a senator in this country, you'll be spending more than $1 billion. So the projection...
Pardon me, Barrister. 1 billion naira.
Yes, yes. The thing is that you may start campaign even 1 year before the subtle campaign. You start mobilizing, empowering
you don't
some
need
people.
To spend that much.
No,
reach out to people.
No. See, that's theoretically, but in practice, it takes much money. So the way they look at it is that unless we are getting so much money, we won't have money to contest the next election. So it should be taken holistically. It goes beyond how much you pay them. It should also get up to the point that they should be accountable to the people. When they are accountable to the people, the demand of the people in terms of physical cash cannot be reduced. Because when they are closer to the people and the people know what they are doing, they will reduce the demand. Because if you see the amount of demand that Nigerians make on political office holders, it is so humongous. Everybody, if you visit home, in fact, sometimes some of them don't go home. Because when you get to home, this one will say, my son wants to go to school. Oh, this one says, my father is in the hospital. Within 1 week, even if you have 100 million, and you start granting all the requests, it will finish. So the level of poverty in the land is so much. And when this office holders start building skyscrapers, hotels in big cities, so the message they send to the electorate is that they have billions, and these requests keep coming. So we need an environment where the elected people should be closer to their own people. Let people ask them questions. So it could be made compulsory that every 6 months, every elected person should get back to his people. You have to sit with your people and let there be a feedback mechanism whereby they can ask you questions. You tell them what you are doing in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, how it is impacting on their lives. Instead of going there, you move from there every week, either in US, London, Dubai. As you keep moving around, when it gets to 6 months to election, you return home with talks with policemen. You start splashing money here and there, start empowering, so-called empowerment. You buy vehicle for 5 troublemakers and posters everywhere, begin to disturb people, begin to spend money. At the end of the day, you either win or lose. You return to the city. So this is a vicious cycle. We need to end that vicious cycle. Your question is in terms of payment. And I'm taking it holistically. That it goes beyond how much you pay them. It requires holistic approach. On the minimum wage, you need to ask yourself, unless you make education free, how much will you pay a worker to enable him to pay school fees for 4 of his children?
Or even a child.
Or even a child. Now, if you pay a worker 50,000 naira, and a private school charges 100,000 per term, 300,000 per annum, then we are beyond other purchases, and he has 4 children. That will be 1.2 million. Then if he earns 50,000 as minimum wage times 12, that's 600,000. So he cannot even train his children in school. We are not talking about feeding. We are not talking about dependents, relatives. So education has to be made free. It will be difficult to fight corruption when people cannot eat and eat well, when they cannot train their children in school. You can only succeed in putting fear, and people will go underground.
To devise other means.
They devise other means. So education has to be made free. I said that the way against corruption will not really succeed, except to make education free. If I will not pay school fee and you improve public schools so that people can confidently send their children to public schools and believe they can learn there and make it free. And I know that I will spend money on education. Then I depend, all I need if I earn 20,000 naira, I pay for house rent and I feed my children. The way you make me to pay for house rent, feed my children, take care of my relatives, and pay exorbitant school fees, what kind of corruption will it be? Even if you give me a job and pay me 50,000 naira per month, definitely you cannot win.
You will not succeed. Well, to buttress further your point, just recently, the governor-elect of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, actually barred people from visiting his country, his home, where immediately after the announcement of his victory, they said he became a maker of salt. In fact, people go there daily. All kinds of dance troupes were there. They were singing and dancing to his praises. And of course, you know the political atmosphere and the way it turns out. So at a point, and that's him on the right-hand side of your screen, Okezie Ikpeazu did say that enough of it, and that he needed time to really settle down, think through what he would do for the people of Abia. And it buttressed the pressure politicians, if you may say, are in or brought upon themselves. Now, looking at what to expect from the incoming government, what are those things that you would expect the Buhari administration, like you said at the top, to do in terms of reducing cost of governance? Because in the past, the approach has been collapsing of ministries, restructuring of the parastatals, and which has led to the loss of jobs, so to speak. You know, in Nigeria, the public sector employs a lot. And which other ways should Buhari devise after maybe mentally changing Nigerians' thinking? The practical steps, which I am looking at from the aspect of remuneration of public office holders. What should he do in that respect?
Definitely he has to bring it down. And he has to cause a revolution in the electioneering system. Those who rig elections have to be punished. There has to be an election commission, complaints commission. After the elections, let those who have helped in rigging the elections be placed on the front burner of the law. Let them suffer. Let them know that it is wrong to rig election. You see, as we jubilate now, everybody has put behind all the issues of rigging. Those who were killed, as we speak now, many people were killed in the course of the election. We don't know their names. The government ought to have said, okay, when Buhari comes, let him say, I want to have let the security agencies raise all the names of the people who died in this election. Then we'll need to remember them. Who are those that caused their deaths?
Maybe a cenotaph somewhere.
Let there be investigation. It's not a matter of cenotaph. There should be a mental cenotaph. We don't celebrate, we don't even observe anniversaries. People just die like chickens. But besides, I need to point out that transparency in governance will help the incoming government more than anything. Because if you reduce the whole salaries, most of our monies are frittered away through corruption, inflation of contracts. One person can take 100 billion and run away. Even when you have reduced the whole salary, pension, how many people took the money and ran away? So it's not even when the pensions were not paid, where they stashed it away. You see, we have a culture where even public servants take ministries' money to be paid to people, put it in bank to yield interest for them. Hold people to ransom. After a month or two, they bring it out, take the interest and pay civil servants the other ones. So basically, we need transparency in governance. If we have transparency, then non-governmental organizations can now act as guards. I mean, they watch over what government officials do. We need to have the ombudsman, people you can complain to, and somebody will take action immediately, because many people, they don't know whom to complain to when there are abuses. When stealing takes place, you run to this place. If you run to maybe police station to complain, they say you should deposit 5,000 naira before your complaint is taken down in writing. I mean, and there are so many things nobody wants you to say. They are there like virus consuming the country, and they are waiting for who will say it to be crucified. So but if we run a transparent government, I have nothing to hide. I mean, no civil servant should have anything to hide except for what constitutes secrets, as have been preserved under the freedom of
state secrets.
Yes, because there is no government that doesn't have secrets, but beyond those ones, all others should be made known to the public. So if the government can run a government of transparency, definitely to start shouting that $20 billion missing, and nobody gives you account, people will shout themselves who asked before you set up a committee. After this committee, you set up another committee.
To investigate the other
and people
committee.
will start shouting, you should release the report. You say, no way, you won't release the report. It is only when you are accused by somebody up there before you now. I mean, there should be a systematic way, sequential way of doing things, so that Nigerians can predict their government and say, if this thing happens, I will report you to so-so place, and so-so thing will happen. Now, it is every man for himself, God before us all. So definitely, as we speak, the incoming government has to hit the ground running by running a transparent government, leadership by example. This will be the magic wand. Once we discover that the government, people in government are obeying the law, they're obeying the rules, other Nigerians will calm down. I give you a simple instance. There was I will not mention the church. There was this church in my area some time ago that many people were not attending. But a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, when he was old, started attending that church. Do you know the number of people that started attending the church? Increased from our area. People felt, if this former minister can attend this church, who am I not to attend it? There must be something he saw in this church to attend it. So you don't know the effect it has when people at the top take positive steps. The thing trickles down and has, most time, it creates this majoritarian effect on people. So we need leadership by example. We need transparency. The magic you are talking about will begin to happen. The miracle you are talking about will begin to happen. Nigerians are ready to live within their means. If the leadership, they are ready to live within their means. But somebody who was a tailor a few days ago, just 2 years later start building a 4-story building because he got power. I mean, if he has gotten it through that way, then some evil-minded people will say, I need to kidnap his child, let him vomit part of this thing. So I'm not saying these things are bad. They use their lifestyle to empower criminals, and people now think that the society cannot protect them. They will need to protect themselves. They live in a lawless society. When you run to this place, you cannot be protected. So we need a system that will take the security and welfare of the citizenry as uppermost, as prescribed by Section 14, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
as amended, as you say, as the barrister say, amended. Well, we're still moving on, but specifically, barrister, let's look at an aspect, because service delivery in governance will make more impact. For instance, take Britain, for instance. Nobody expected a conservative would come this far. But as is being seen, certain aspects that has to do with the people's life, which has to do with job creation and all of that, the British economy coming back stronger, has spurred people to go election day. Apart from all the opinion polls that put neck to neck with Labour and so on. But here in Nigeria, there are aspects of livelihoods. First of all, power. In the last 16 years, billions of, not naira, dollars, which means hundreds of billions of naira, maybe $1 trillion plus, has been invested in power. Nigerians are yet to see the resultant effect of that. Even the outgoing government, although they are saying that, well, it took another turn. They brought about some changes and all of that, and Nigerians will not see the effect so far. How come that 16 years down the line, Nigerians are here to see power? What do you think the incoming government should do? Because it's been said by some economists that if the kind of attention Nigerians want to be focused on power should be focused, other aspects of Nigeria's economy will suffer. Do you see that?
I think in the area of power, we created a sinking hole. And that has been you see, when Nigerians use, or our government decides to use what should benefit the people, allow it in the hand of a cabal. You can see when Professor Naji was bringing hope to the people, he was removed. Somebody like me, I wept. I said, that's anytime somebody wants to raise my hope that we should look forward in this country. One thing or the other will bring an end to bring me to a hopeless situation. I was jubilating when MKO Abiola was winning the presidency. I didn't know whether he would have done miracles, but I had hope. Suddenly the announcement was scuttled. So I was beaten down. So in this issue of power, Professor Naji was working out the miracle. And some people were not comfortable. Recall during Obasanjo's first tenure, the late Bola Ige said within 6 months, so there will be a turnaround. I mean, nothing happened. So if somebody as respectable as Bola Ige said it, let Bola Ige may so rest in peace, and nothing happened. So I lost hope until Professor Naji, started making changes. I began to see power for 4 hours, for 5 hours. I said, is this Nigeria?
Or does it mean that we have the power somewhere and...
we create a cabal, or we allow cabals to exist that ensures that the system will not work. And these people are so powerful. If you go to power sector, they are there. You go to petroleum sector, they are there. How come we were talking about oil thieves? Is it easy to bring a ship and steal oil and take to foreign countries? Poor people cannot do it. So it was operated by cabals, and they were stealing. And you had the government in power saying that there are oil thieves, there are oil thieves. I mean, these people were their spirits. So that's to tell you that it is the same people that are in power that abuse the power to fritter away the commonwealth, the resources of the people, and they, in turn, create public relations outfits that will be deceiving the people, while they turn the other way to cheat the people. So that's why I told you about transparency. On this issue of power, unless the government decides to be transparent, the cabal holding that sector will never release it. You know, like Pharaoh, it took him time to let the people go. It took the strong arm of the Lord to let the people go. Even in the midst of the plagues, he continued to resist. So you need a government that can break the yoke of the cabals. And unless this incoming government decides to do so, but what I have discovered over time is one cabal replaces another. I hope we have a benevolent cabal this time around that will let the people go. But definitely, every part of our governance has been, in fact, even in markets, it might be unknown to you that even in markets, people create cabal. In streets, people create cabals, lock up the streets, and say nobody will pass our street. Everywhere, people constitute their own governments.
So, doesn't mean it speaks of our attitude towards collective good? Is it our attitude towards collective good?
I think, you see, the people cannot optimally lead themselves. They need people who will be in government, who will understand what it takes to run a government. Now, again, because of the nature of man, the Englishman has learned, sorry, the Westerners, I mean, the Western world have learned a trick that you should reduce the contact between people in terms of service delivery. I give you an instance. If I want to apply for a form, I shouldn't necessarily go to the university or the school. I should online apply for a form.
So they don't know who you are?
It's sure. Get it and do whatever I want to do. I even pay online. So you don't need to look at my face to...
Or where I'm from?
Yes, to say, either I'm Igbo man, I'm Yoruba man, you hate Igbos, you hate Yorubas, you hate Hausas, you will not attend to me. Machine doesn't operate that way. But do you know what they do in Nigeria? They will create a platform. The same people that created the platform will bring a system that will make that platform not to work. So if you do anything using that platform, it will bounce back. It will not work. I'll give you an instance. If you want to, there was a time it was publicized that you can even check, do name availability at the website of Corporate Affairs Commission. Maybe you want to register a company, want to register, you can just send in first. Check it. You know. So a friend in Italy said he learned one can just check and all that and all that. So I said, okay, try it. He tried it, it didn't work. It will require somebody to actually go to the office. Who has made it not to work? So they sold the information to the outside world that you can do it. But in reality, you can't do it. You will be required to see somebody's face who may delay it and say...
And then you ask, what's happening?
What's happening? He may not say, give me something. Start begging him to give him something to get it on time. So basically, if the system is allowed to work, you should start at your home and send it and get it working. Absolutely. So it's not just in respect of that, in all other areas. So they will create this platform, electronic platform. The same people will make the electronic platform not to work. So hardly will you in Nigeria stay in your house and conclude a transaction from beginning to end without meeting somebody to see your face and now decide whether you should settle him or not. So that's part of the solution. If this government can ensure that many businesses can be run online without anybody seeing anybody's face, want to file proceedings in court, you just file, you pay. The charges you press, the charges will come. You now calculate writ of summons, so amount, statement of claim, so amount. If it's on this, it's so amount. You calculate it. You now use your card, send it. I mean, get all this.
It will make things better.
It will reduce this human contact. As long as you continue to have this level of human contact, people come and line up. They say the man has gone to church. He has gone on school run. He has gone to mosque. Then people keep waiting. They say, go, come back in 2 weeks' time. Go, come back next month. He has gone on lesser Hajj. He has gone on, traveled abroad, followed the first lady to so-so country. Then everything will wait until the governor returns.
Exactly. Well, I'm still here. Barrister Chukwuemeka is still here. We'll go for this very quick break. We'll come back and wrap up. We're looking at issues and the challenges ahead. The government coming in at the center, that's to be led by President-elect Muhammadu Buhari, who many have said is his second coming. And let's see how that turns out. People are very, very positive and upbeat. We hope that that will be the case as he kickstarts his surgeon on the mantle of leadership. Don't go away. It's still called Digest Extra. We'll come back and wrap up.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. It's still called Digest Extra, and the last 5 minutes we have, Barrister Chukwuemeka is still here. Barrister, time is fast spent. I know you're already on your way out, but before we go, what are your, despite all of these issues, we all know the challenges before the incoming government, what are your expectations from the incoming government?
I don't have any special expectation except that he should keep to his campaign promises. I didn't give him any promise to keep. I think he made some promises. So he should not renege on those promises because he was elected based on the hope he has given to Nigerians. So he should do less of crashing that hope. So messages like you should not expect miracle, be patient and all that. It's good, but it's too early in the day. It's too early. Let him start. We are human beings. We know the difficulties that we. It's not easy to. Even if your personal problems, you cannot solve them overnight. So there's no way you can solve that of the country overnight. But we should not be moving forward and backward at the same time. It's forward ever, backward never.
Exactly.
So now that we have an incoming government, and in the next few days he'll be here with us, he should continue to give us hope.
Continue to give us hope that... finally, what about if you are in a position to advise Nigerians? Because there's an atom of patience there, no matter how we look at it.
Sure.
What would be your word to Nigerians?
Nigerians have always been patient. I mean, really? In the last 16 years, we've been promised power, we have not had it. Our heavens have not fallen. So Nigerians have always been patient. I don't need to preach to them to be patient, except that they should be vigilant. Having voted in a government, they should not relax or think that only those voted in will do all the miracles. Everybody is a stakeholder, including those that cast their votes. So eternal vigilance is the price to pay for liberty. So Nigerians should not slack. They should keep every governor, the president, local government chairman, member of House of Assembly, member of National, whoever, they should put them on their toes. They should ask questions. And we should continually ask questions.
Exactly.
And ensure that this change will be real. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that's Barrister Chukwuemeka is a legal practitioner, going by the title there. And he belongs to the learned community.
Sure.
Barrister, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're really glad to have you here. And after a while, having you. Thank you very much for coming. Well, that's Barrister Chukwuemeka. We look at the issues and challenges that will be confronting the incoming government. Of course, it will go away, and this is not the last discourse in that aspect. From everybody here, live here on CoreTV, on Core Digest Extra, my name is Emmanuel Ezekiel, and have a splendid weekend ahead.